Welcome to Jurassic Park, you guys. Not really, but I had to put this decoration there. I really didn't have a choice, did I? Anyhow, welcome to the ALL BIOMES Park's entry section that is modeled after what we know about the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, which is something that was suggested to me by Eva. She said in the last video where I was building the pyramids of Giza, why don't you do the Hanging Gardens of Babylon? And I was like, what? Okay. But after a brief moment of panic, I went to Wikipedia just to see what is known about those, because as a kid I thought, hanging gardens, that had to be, and it's a wonder, so it has to be something magical floating in the air.
It's a miracle!
But it turns out that actually it is a series of tiered gardens containing a wide variety of trees, shrubs, and vines that are resembling a large green mountain constructed of mud bricks. And then I was like, oh, well, that sounds like something I can do. And then I kept reading until I reached the chapter about the plants that you would find there. And to my astonishment, it's pretty much everything. Like from olive trees to date palms, cypress, willows, plums, junipers, ash, fir trees, walnut, everything would be found there. So I was like, this is pretty much perfect as an entry section, because it actually incorporates the idea of the park with all the biomes from all around the world, to have like a big park with plants from all around the world. So that got me pretty excited. And then I went to Google image search just to see what other people had done with that information, and then what I saw just made me so much more excited. Pretty much every picture there just added something that I wanted to incorporate. And I'll show you two pictures here that especially inspired me, and I made my own sketch about this because I knew I had to plan this. This was not something that I could just build from scratch, especially these ponds I saw everywhere. I wanted to have one of those. And also, if you guys remember, I have put the Innovation Center on a little hill because I wanted people to go up there. And I said in one of my very first episodes that I would love to have something very planned out and grand leading up to there. And so I thought this was basically the perfect opportunity, because it is described as this mountain and something has to be on top of this. So why not combine the entry section with this grand promenade, first leading down to this lovely pond and then back up to the Innovation Center. And all those elevated little walkways I saw, there's one picture in particular that gave me that idea, that lead away from this hanging garden structure, really got me thinking that this would be perfect for the entry section, because actually we want people to have the opportunity to go in different directions. So I incorporated this as well into my sketch, and here's how I went about it. I started with a square 3x3 path length and found the middle of it to add a circle in there that had the radius of 1 full path length. And in this circle I added the entry building, the arrival point, and I wanted to have the circle there because I wanted to start off with a first small garden. And I thought the circular design would break up all these angular things and shapes that I had going in my sketch. And then I added those 4 walkways, again with a circular starting point, that are going to lead to several sections. The first to the left, in front of the building, is leading to the Asian section, and I'm thinking of adding a hotel section to the right of it. So yeah, I had to fiddle a little with those paths. You'll see later that didn't quite fit with what I had in mind. But first I started to add those wall pieces because I wanted to sink the ground and add those tiers, and I figured they would help me. And since Wikipedia told me we had those brick walls there, the wall pieces were the way to go. And I added the tiers and wall pieces to them. And I knew I wanted to go down to this pond that I'm creating right now. I had to fiddle a little. I planned for for a bit of a different shape, but it turned out this was the way that I could manage to make this thing happen. It's okay. I like it. I actually like it. I think it's even better than what I had planned for, because I wanted the sides that are tilted there to have the same length as the short side. But I think this looks better. And then I added path around it, just because I wanted people to walk around it, of course. By the way, I'm working here with the facility path, because I had started building this on the day the update was going to come, but it wasn't there yet. And actually, while building this, forgot that it was going to come. And I just wanted to use a placeholder path. And I really liked this one. And I was pretty sure that no matter what path type we were going to get, I would probably want to work with the facility path. It has just this nice light color. Yeah, and here I realized that I had made a mistake. My sketch was a little different, and I didn't quite know how to fix it back then. Yeah. So I just kept going with the sides of the terraces, as you see me deleting pieces of wall and not quite knowing what to do, because I actually planned for these shorter sides that are at an angle to be parallel to the sides of the pond, and the top tier was supposed to be parallel, but there's this huge circle and it didn't work. So here you see me thinking. So I deleted that, added the wall pieces first in hopes that that would help me, and it did in the end. Here you see me deleting the circle. I still wanted to keep it because, as I said, to break up the angular shapes, but I had to make it way smaller so I could still have this side that is parallel to the pond. So yeah, I shrank it all down and added the path, a walkway there, so you could have just a look onto the garden that is lying ahead. And yeah, the wall pieces just helped me. They were basically my structural building blocks and served as orientation. I used the angle snap function tool, by the way, and I knew from the start that I had to use this because just to save me some trouble. It's just way easier to get these correct angles if you use the angle snap. So I would recommend, if you try to build something that is really geometrical and not very natural, flowy, and it's going to be big and complicated, always plan on using this tool because it's very handy. So yeah, so I did the same thing on the other side, shrank the circle and add the path. And now I'm going to delete everything that I did with the Asian entry section because, well, I'm going to create a new one right there. And I added another pond without a brick wall fencing, so to speak, but with a garden around it, and all of these little gardens that are not that little. The bigger ones that have quite some space, I figured they could serve as small exhibits to give you a taste of what's to come. So later I'm going to add a Brachiosaurus to the circle around the entry section. And the one in front of the Asian section, I don't know yet what to put there. Maybe you guys could tell me if you have any ideas. Actually, now come to think of it, the Brachiosaurus would have been a good choice. I could still place them there and I don't know, put something else in front of around the entry building. So yeah, I repeated this. It's pretty much a very geometric form. Here I'm finagling a little bit with the terrain so that everything looks pristine. And then I had to create the tiers that lead up to the Innovation Center and this very long path that leads up to it. And I had to add, I don't know how many wall pieces, but I started with one at the top tier, and then I always used one less at the one more at the tier underneath it. So I think this is a compilation of me adding a ton of wall pieces very fast, but I had to speed this up even more because it took a really long time. Not that long, but I wouldn't want to annoy you with just me placing wall pieces. And then I had to add this, at an angle, the tier, because it's supposed to be a mount that goes, that has not just a front, but sides as well. And once I had that, I placed my Innovation Center just to see how that looked, and I gotta say I like how it looks. And then I added those two paths that are leading in two different directions that I later replaced with two tours. You are going to see that. So yeah, here's just a little slow mode. I continued widening the sides of this mountain because I felt the space I had left at the upper tier next to the Innovation Center was a little too small, so I had to widen it. And then this is how it turned out. And then I repeated the same thing on the other side, and then it looked like this. So yeah, those two paths, or tours, they are leading to, yet again, other sections to the park. And now the fun began, because now the horrible stuff was done, and the stuff that really made my head ache, and I could start adding path and decorations. This was still before the update was there. We still didn't have nice decoration, all the entry banners and stuff. And what you see me do here is adding lots of planters to hide the gaps between the wall pieces, because, as I said, this is supposed to be pristine and it's a palace, so I don't want crumbling walls on this. So I used vegetation and planters to hide this, and then it was time to plant those tiers with all the trees there. And I started with the tree brushes, actually those paleo botany plant brushes we have, just to have something to work with. And since it is something that has all kinds of plants, I wanted it to be as diverse as possible. So I added basically everything we have. And I also worked with those crazy plants that the brushes give us. As I said, lots of bushes, and I wanted to really have variety. Wherever you look, there is something that you haven't seen somewhere else. So every tree we have went everywhere, and lots of palms, because, well, it's exotic. And then I planted the pond. I know you guys are sort of, some of you really don't like putting vegetation in water, but those are supposed to be aquatic plants or semi-aquatic plants. And I wanted every corner to have different plant life to underline the diversity of this. So I have a few deserty plants and bushes and palms and whatever, and I placed those planters with the different foliage in the water, because when you walk by you can't see the planters, you just see this lovely flowers in the water, and it looks really cool. I like it, and I think I'm going to do this much more often from now on because it works. I was always a little on the fence of doing this because you can see the planters from up above, but not when you walk by, so that's really perfect. So yeah, I'm just filling the gaps with everything there is. Lots of trees, bushes, shrubs. Beautiful, beautiful. Can't have enough vegetation. So that's how it turned out in the end when it was fully planted. And then I went to fence in the circle around the entry building so I could put in the dryos. And I didn't know exactly what sort of garden type I was going for around the entry building, and I decided to go for basically the same thing I did with the tiers here. This is when I finally had the decorations, and I had to start rearranging a few things because I wanted to add them. Yeah. Like everywhere. And I think this mural, since it is so green, it is basically depicting a garden, woods, foresty. It's so green, I felt like it absolutely had to go there. I'm using it a few times more. And then first I had the plan to just add more garden stuff next to this long path. But I figured this is, since we have the paras, on this mural, we might as well add them there and start just, to give a nod to the original movie. Start with something big. Give the people something nice to look at. So I introduced the Brachis with the movie skin, the 1993 movie skin, and the Parasaurolophus. But those, I just gave them the, Jurassic World Dominion skin, because I like this one a lot. All three of them I used. I like the blue one most of all, but I used the other ones as well. And, start with the classics. Give the people something nice to look at. And why not use the Brachis? That's just such a nice wink to the movie, I thought. So I had to hide a little bit what's behind this wonderful mural because I thought the moment is just so much greater. If you can't really see what's behind there, you have to walk through this gate. And so I added lots of plants, as I said, bushes. A big bush is always welcome if you want to hide something. The planters, beautiful. And obviously on the other side, I needed something as well. But I'm not going to place the raptors there, right? I have them in the biodome already. Why would I place them there? And to fence them in with just the invisible fence, it seemed a little risky. And I want this to be serene. So I decided on something different and still movie accurate, I would say. Fiddling with the fence there. Okie dokie. Yeah, I had to delete fence so I could make it fit. And I wanted the tracks to be as close as possible so I wouldn't have trouble adding the fence next to it. Because, I don't want the people to drive through the exhibits because of the honking. I hate the honking. Yeah. So this right now is leading to, this tour is leading to the Asian section just so I had the connection and it wouldn't keep annoying me with the notification because I hate those notifications. But it's going to lead to something different, I figure. We have an entry to the Asian section that is on top of this whole section. And this one this tour is going to lead to the lagoon section where the Palm Springs beach will someday come into existence. So yeah, lots of different access points to the different park sections. I hope that is going to work out, but I like the idea, so I will do my best to make it work out. And yeah, I continued adding some of this paleobotany stuff to the exhibit just to, you know, make it blend in a little with the gardens that were planted on top. And then I went to decorate the sidewalks with just shrubs. I wanted to keep the piece count down a little because I was really afraid that this build was going to make my PC crash, but I'm still getting 90 frames per second, and there you have it. This is what's living opposite to the Brachis and the Paras. I thought this was nice, and I gave 3 of them the movie skins. So Trikes, and I had to widen to enlarge their habitat. It was a little small. So yeah, and I think adding the Brachis, Paras, and Trikes there, they are not the dinosaurs with the highest popularity rating, but they are okay. So that would actually mean that people would go there. It would be a shame to have this beautiful contraption that I've built there with lots of sweat and tears, and just see it completely deserted because no one's going there. So yeah, I had to add something that gives a little interest. I'm lining, excuse me, lining this with rocks, just because I didn't want to obstruct the view too much. And I tried bushes before, but obviously that didn't work because you can't see over the bushes because the people are just way too small to do that. And yeah, hiding the ugly sides to the galleries, and then I went to the actual entry plaza, and I discovered that when I placed those fountains there, these round wall pieces just perfectly fit, and I just had to place them there. I couldn't resist. Yeah, and planters, wall pieces, had to adjust the fence again, and I fiddled a lot with what to place next to this gate. What you see me doing here is not what I ended up with. I first had the palms there, then I deleted those and added the "When Dinosaurs Rule the Earth" banner, and I thought that was really cool, but it looked a little off. I mean, you can do it, but then I just figured just repeat placing the gate there from the other side, so you can whenever you walk through it, you see this fantastic gate with the title and the torches. So yeah. And then, of course, vegetation. I had to add vegetation to this exhibit and lots of different trees. I just went for the mixed biome thing that I had going in this garden. And I alternated between walls and fountains and planters. Again, I used those egg-shaped planters to hide the gaps. And I tried to use... No, I think I used the same foliage type, biome type for those embellishments to this exhibit garden thingy. yeah, so I repeated the same thing on the other side. I think it is really cute. I mean, it's not the most extravagant thing you could do to line an exhibit, but it worked out pretty perfect. See how the fountain just fit in there? So I had to take it. And obviously, the whole section is not decorated, finally decorated. I feel like the whole paved plaza that I have there, it's a little too gray. Although I love the combination, and as Montgomery Rex commented on my community post I did, I love the combination of those two path types. The contrast is really good. And I come from a graphic design world, so I love those. It's nearly black and white, but it's a little toned down, so it's easy on the eye, but still giving you this high contrast. It's sublime, in my opinion. And of course, I had to add also a lot of fountain. What I wanted to say, all over the place. What I want to say is it's not. Finally, it's not decorated to a finishing touch because I feel it's still too much concrete. It's a garden, so I have to add more planters and planted stuff. But yeah, for now, it's okay. I will go back in and add a few more things. And I actually like what I did there with the curved wall pieces as a backdrop to those nooks. Between the murals that, of course, I had to add because of the greenness again. I'm thinking of replacing the trees and the fountains, and I replace the trees by tables and chairs to add to create really nice little seating nooks, and replace the fountain by a planter to add more vegetation. But I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, that's, I think, is a finishing touch. Now I'm creating the entry to the Asian section with this banner, and I figure this is how I'm going to create all the entries to any section in this park. I'm going to use this banner and just pretend it says something different every time. Or maybe not, maybe it's just the banner and the choice of decorations I put next to it indicate what section this is. We'll see. But I'm so happy we got this now. I was hoping for us to get this banner with the update. Honestly, I was so hoping for it. And I'm so happy we did. And now again, murals. Trying to find a nice way to separate this garden section from the Asian section. And I was pretty happy with the combination again with the round piece and the mural. So I had to move the buildings and finagle a bit. And this is what it turned out to be. And I added path to the circles and made them a little seating section with planters and stuff. And this is it. I'm now going to show you a few glamour shots of the whole thing, and I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you are not mad that this is a speed build. I told you in a community post that I had to concentrate so hard at the beginning of this building session on my sketch and how I could realize it in the game, so that I just wasn't able to talk to you. I tried, but it didn't work. And so I had to make this a speed build. Maybe it's okay. Maybe you like this even better because it's faster and shorter. If so, you can tell me in the comments. So yeah, I hope you like this. It's not finished. The Innovation Center section is not decorated at all, but I hope this gave you some ideas. And if you liked it, please leave a like, a comment, and consider subscribing to my channel. That would be really nice. I thank you a lot for watching, and have fun with the new decorations. Bye!